final day of February has arrived, and Cole Hamels takes the mound for his second start of the spring. The left-hander's coming off his most impressive and consistent regular season of his career. With the World Series MVP in his pocket and his status with the Phillies being decided on last July, the only thing left for Cole to do is to keep on being Cole. We are one time through the rotation so far here in spring training, and the fans are going to settle in today at Bright House Field with the Atlanta Braves coming into town to get a chance to see Cole Hamels for the second time this spring. He's coming off a scoreless outing, his first time out, and now he'll get a second chance to up those innings here in Clearwater. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Chris Wheeler. Sergeant Murph will be around a little later on in more ways than one. You know, the Atlanta Braves coming to town for the first time this spring. The Phillies will face them a number of times during the regular season. They'll battle for the National League East title, and Cole Hamels will be an important piece for the Phils in that battle.
Well, these guys have had a lot of battles in the past. Cole Hamels always taking his regular turn against the Atlanta Braves. They know him. He knows them. They have made some changes, of course. Had a tremendous game against them last year. See the breaking ball, good fastballs. His cutter, he pitched a complete game on a very warm night at Citizens Bank Park and had tremendous stuff. There's Michael Bourne, a guy who's not around anymore. Finish it up with a changeup right there to Prado, another guy who isn't around anymore with the Atlanta Braves. Cole Hamels against Atlanta has had very, very good games. Now, the other day he made his first spring training start and he was fine. They just wanted to see what they could get at him with 35 pitches or 2 innings. He breezed through those 2 innings. Speaking of the breeze, it was really windy here and it blew some balls back that may have been foul balls and prolonged his outing a little bit, as you saw right there. This is what the guy did last year. Just a tremendous season. Was rewarded with a big, big new contract at midseason and went on to have a tremendous season with the 17 wins. Now, Cole Hamels is one of those guys you look at as one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. And he sat down and talked about what makes him what he is.
The game of baseball, it's such result-based and statistics after statistics that, you know, I think people kind of look too deep into sort of situations, and you know, I feel like I've been able to improve every year, and that's what I'm striving to do every year, is to improve every aspect of my game. Unfortunately, you know, it's a team game, so some of these sort of statistics that people look at to really kind of decipher if you're good or not, or if you had a great year or if you had a down year, really aren't kind of those sort of personal goals that somebody can actually obtain. So you know, I'm just trying to go out there and really, you know, strive to be the best pitcher I possibly can and to help a team win.
You know, Tom, you think about Cole Hamels, he doesn't have bad years. He'll have some bad stretches once in a while, and it's always because he's not healthy. And he is very, very healthy right now, very confident. They look for big things from him.
Well, we talked about the fact that he's going to face the Atlanta Braves a lot this year, and he's going to battle the Atlanta Braves for the National League East. The Braves are in town. As we mentioned, it's our first look at a brand-new Braves team.
Well, sometimes you hear about additions to a team, and you kind of oh-hum, but not this. Look at these two guys that came over, the Upton brothers, two tremendous players. BJ here in this area for so long, played against the Phillies in the World Series. Justin Upton over from Arizona, a tremendous talent, can hit with power, can run, can throw. So, yeah, these two guys should really, really help him.
And both of those guys are in the starting lineup today for the Atlanta Braves. Jason Hayward is in the starting lineup for the Atlanta Braves. So they've brought some of their everyday players over from Orlando to face the Phils here in Clearwater. Well, Dominic Brown's also in the starting lineup for the Phillies. He probably has, at least for the first week of spring games, have had the best swings of anybody else in the Phillies lineup. Speaking of swings, how about this swing? Reminiscent, huh? We'll see more of that later on. Baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Is it a time you experience good banking? By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. And by Toyota. Every new Toyota purchase comes with Toyota Care. Let's go places. It's a comfortable afternoon for baseball here in Clearwater, Florida. Temperatures are in the high 60s, low 70s as we get set for the Braves and the Phillies. The Braves have won 3 straight spring training games. Meanwhile, the Phillies lost yesterday to the Minnesota Twins. Let's take a look at Atlanta's starting lineup. Leading it off at second base, Tyler Pasternicki. Jason Hayward bats second. Justin Upton hits third, followed by his brother BJ. Chris Johnson, the third baseman, bats fifth. Evan Gattis, the catcher, will hit sixth. Ernesto Mejia, the first baseman, bats seventh. Todd Cunningham, eighth, and batting ninth and playing shortstop. He's getting set to go to the World Baseball Classic as Ramiro Pena. And they'll face Phillies left-hander Cole Hamels, who'll probably get through 3 innings this afternoon. He threw 2 innings his last time out, Wheels, and allowed just 1 hit and had 1 strikeout.
Yeah, Tom, 1 time through the rotation so far, and now it's Cole's turn to pitch here against a team he's very, very familiar with. He was fine here the other day. Be interested to see if he throws his curveball this afternoon. He didn't show that the other day. He just went with basic cutter, change-up, fastball mix.
Well, he'll face Tyler Pasternicki to start things off. Pasternicki, who last year spent some time in the major leagues and also in the minors, playing shortstop today, or playing second base, excuse me, today. He's a shortstop by trade. And the first pitch of the afternoon is in there for a strike, so we're underway. The count is no balls and 1 strike. You know, the Phillies will face the Braves a handful of times during spring training. They'll face teams within their division and outside their division, but it's the Braves they'll face most often within their division. I wonder how much they hold back as the month goes on.
Well, some pitchers are like that. They will not throw guys in situations, in RBI situations, things like that. Pitches, they'll throw them during the season. You know, whether Cole Hamels feels that way, I can't tell you that. But I've seen it over the years and known guys that were that way. They said, if I'm facing a team that we're going to see in the season, especially early, I'm not going to show them some things.
So far, the Phillies starters, the first time through the rotation, they've allowed just a couple runs. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, a changeup, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Knowing Cole the way we all know him, I think he'd probably think that's overthinking a little bit. You know that he's not going to do those kind of things. Now, whether or not he doesn't throw curveballs, just because he has decided he's not going to throw them yet.
Swing and a miss at a high fastball. We saw that fastball the other day. It was effective. That one was up in the zone and effective. And there's 1 away here in the first.
Yeah, it's up. As Tom says, it's up. You know, Cole stays down so much in the zone with his change-up cutters and his other fastballs that he can get strikeout on that pitch. And that's the one that used to foul off so much against him, the right-handed hitters, especially when he didn't have anything to come inside the way that he does now.
That'll bring Jason Hayward to the plate. Hayward 2 for 9 so far, and both of his hits have been home runs for the Braves. He takes a pretty good rip and a foul ball at the first pitch.
We're just seeing this guy down the field before the game. We're talking to Roger McDowell and some of their guys, and he's a man now. He has really matured in so many ways, and look out.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. I think it'll be interesting to see who the Braves utilize as their leadoff hitter without Michael Bourne. B.J. Upton's in the on-deck circle. You would think he has a chance to be the team's leadoff hitter. Outside, Hayward, you know, he could be anywhere in the lineup in the middle. He could bat second, he could bat third, he could bat fourth.
Yeah, and he's getting to the point. There's, you see, Upton is getting to the point now where left-handers don't bother him the way they did when they first came up, except there'll be certain left-handers like this guy that can bother anybody.
Yeah, 2 strikeouts for Hamels to start today's ball game.
Cole Hamels throwing a lot of strikes. Looks like it cut a little bit away from him. That's such an effective pitch that he added a few years ago, and it's really changed the way that he can approach pitching.
Well, now with 2 outs, here's Justin Upton. Upton playing left field today, where he'll play for the Braves this season. Last year he hit .280 with 17 home runs and 67 runs batted in. The Braves acquired him late in the offseason, and a deal that included a number of prospects going back to the Diamondbacks and Martin Prado, who signed an extension with the Diamondbacks. That ball's hit well to center field. Revere on the run out toward the track, and it's off the top of the wall. And Justin Upton will pull into second with a 2-out double.
It almost sounded like you hit that ball up the end of the bat and almost went out to dead center. There is a lot of wind. There's going to be one more day of this, a southerly wind or warm wind It's blowing out in this ballpark. Couldn't tell from that angle. And he got a good swing. I see. Yeah, it's right off. It's right out near the end of the bat. And I think Hamels was surprised too that it carried that far. Shows you how strong Justin Upton is too.
Well, that'll bring his brother B.J. to the plate. B.J. hitting cleanup today. Last year he had 28 home runs and 78 RBIs. And a short hop for Michael Young. Cole Hamels through the first inning. He leads one in scoring position. No runs, one hit, one man left. We head to the bottom of the first here in Clearwater. The Phils getting a chance to bat for the first time. Oh, a good top of the first inning for Cole Hamels. He allows just the one hit and nothing else. So we'll go to the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at Charlie Manuel's starting lineup. Kind of an interesting twist today. Leading it off in center field, Ben Revere. Jimmy Rollins, the shortstop, bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard and Michael Young. Dominic Brown is in right field. He has swung the bat exceptionally well this spring. Darren Ruff's in left field. He'll bat seventh. Lance Nix is the DH, batting eighth. And batting ninth and catching is Eric Kratz. And they'll face veteran left-hander Paul Maholm, acquired last year in the middle of the year from the Chicago Cubs. He went on to win 4 games for the Braves. He's made 1 start so far, hasn't allowed anything as of yet for Atlanta.
He's a nice, serviceable major league pitcher. Paul Maholm with the Pirates for a number of years, as Tom said, with the Cubs then. He got all kinds of different pitches. The thing that makes him, I think, is he's a funky delivery. He's kind of hard for hitters to pick up. And he's one of those guys, when he stays out of the middle of the plate, he can really be effective. When he doesn't, he gets hit.
Well, here's Ben Revere leading it off. Revere's 3 for 10 so far this spring, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. And, you know, Wheels, we said there's a little bit of a change in the lineup. Revere's leading off, and Jimmy Rollins is batting second today.
Time to experiment a little bit. Jimmy's going to be gone pretty soon anyway to go to the World Baseball Classic. You're probably going to see Revere lead off quite a bit. You know, he certainly has tools to lead off for the way he can run, slap it around.
Charlie Manuel said the other day that he just wants to see him more in different spots. So that's the reason why he's batting leadoff today. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Revere.
Jimmy, he knows Jimmy. What do you say about Jimmy Rollins? Yeah, the Phillies have been a very, very good team when he leads off, and I think that's the way they're leaning right now. But it's a long season.
Outside, 3-1 the count to Revere.
See that funky delivery of Maholm's, and he kind of short arms the ball up there, jumps at the hitters, and that's another reason why he can be very effective. Good pitcher, good guy to have in your club.
13-11 overall last year, combined between the Braves and the Cubs. And now the count full, 3-2. Ben Revere was on the trip down to Fort Myers yesterday. Phillies took the early lead. As you see, Vic Carapazza behind the plate, but wound up losing and committing 3 errors in the process. Down low, ball forward. Revere works off a leadoff walk.
Yeah, that's one of the things that he said he was going to try and do this spring. Be a little more patient, walk a little more. We mentioned earlier, Charlie Manuel points it out too about Revere. When he swings, he makes contact. So he's not a guy that's going to foul off 3 or 4 pitches in a 10-pitch at bat and walk.
Well, we'll keep an eye on him over at first base. He has had his legs so far this spring. He has scored 3 runs. Rollins 1 for 5 so far. Wheels mentioned he's going to be leaving for the World Baseball Classic, and he'll be leaving on Saturday. So tomorrow will be his last game when the Phillies head to Tampa to take on the Yankees.
He took a shot at the hole on the right side there. Jimmy's that kind of player that if you bat him second, he knows how to play the game, and he'll try to do it the right way. But there's a huge hole on the right side, as you see there, to shoot a ball through.
Yeah, with Pasternak cheating over towards second base. Inside, 1-1 the count.
Well, Holland, you would think in these kind of situations, would try to pitch inside and make it harder for a guy to do it unless he's adept at inside outing the ball.
Tied him up, and it's 1-2.
Trying to survive, Jeff. Not get hurt.
Throw over to first, and Revere is back ahead of the tag. Ben Revere stole 40 bases last year. He was caught 9 times. Some of the articles coming out of yesterday's game against the Twins from Fort Myers. Ron Gardenhire was talking about Revere's speed and his ability to lead off if need be. And he felt like, given the opportunity, he could certainly do that. So Juan Samuel with the stopwatch, timing Mahalm to the plate.
Sometimes you run 2-2, almost always 3-2 with a combination like this.
The Phillies, the first couple days here in Clearwater, were running 3-1, 3-2, even with nobody out.
Yeah, this is not a base stealer situation. You look at Utley on deck there, but they'll probably run now because of the count. And Mahalem, not necessarily a strikeout pitcher, run on the count here, try and stay out of the double play, maybe get a first and third.
There goes Revere. Pitch is chopped towards shortstop, and they'll get 1 over at first. So they stay out of the double play. Pena takes care of Rollins. And 1 out here in the bottom of the first. And that'll bring Chase Utley to the plate. Well, if there was any concern, this will alleviate any concern for fans about Chase Utley. We had mentioned the other day before the ball game that he was scratched because of the wet field. And yesterday he stayed back here in Clearwater, which we expected. He took batting practice on this field with everybody else while the team was playing down in Fort Myers against the Twins. So Chase is just fine. His knee is fine, or knees are fine.
Yeah, that field was really wet when the game started. It rained hard in the morning. Had no problem getting the game in then because it was gone by that point. But why take any chances?
Oh, they also dumped a lot of the water out in shallow right field, just behind where Chase would play. He takes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's 1 for 3 so far with an RBI. His RBI came in the first game of spring training here at Bright House Field. Off the hands, base hit it to left center field. Revere had to wait, so he'll hold up. Ryan Sandberg held him up as the throw comes in on 1 hop from Justin Upton. I think Ben Revere was thinking, I could have scored on that even though I held up.
Yeah, you don't know the catcher's going to get short hop like that either. There's no way Sandberg can run him there when he had to hold that long, unless maybe you're trying to win the game in the bottom of the 9th and you're doing everything you can to get that run across the plate. But in this case, with the left fielder up and getting there so quickly, and the throw was actually decent, but it takes a short hop. Yeah, he would have scored, but last time I heard a guy in this game had a crystal ball, be the first time.
I just like the fact that he put himself in good position to score.
Exactly. Came into third real hard, and that's not his decision. It's the third base coach's decision.
Runners on first and third for Ryan Howard. Howard has played in every game so far, including a trip down to Fort Myers yesterday.
Left-hander like Mahalem, who pitches away a lot, they're not in the overshift on the right side with Howard hitting. a very conventional left-handed hitter pull defense. There you see it.
Ryan was 0 for 3 in the first game here in Clearwater. Since that time, he's 6 for his last 9. The thought, and Charlie has talked about this during spring training, the thought is to give Ryan Howard as many at-bats as possible to make him confident and make him feel comfortable at the plate. And well, so far, as I mentioned, he's played in every game. On the hands, fair ball down the right field line. That'll get one in. Utley's on his way to third, and Utley will have a chance to score. Nope, he's going to be held at third base. Hayward did a nice job handling the corner, but the Phillies take a 1-0 lead on an RBI double by Ryan Howard.
Really interesting to talk to Charlie about that right there. That's one of the things with Ryan Howard, that he'll get jammed once in a while, and then he'll start backing off the plate. And they want him up a little closer, and don't fear getting jammed because he's so strong. See him fight that one off? He's so strong that if he pulls the ball like that down the line, the odds are he's still going to hit it pretty hard. And right there past the first baseman down the line. And that's one of those things that if he'll do more of that and stand closer to the plate and not fear getting jammed, he'll crush that stuff away from him better.
Well, here's Michael Young with runners on second and third. And it's 1 ball and no strikes to Young. They play the infield back, particularly up the middle. Johnson, the third baseman, is in even with the bag.
Right, so they're conceding a run here with a ground ball, and an experienced player by Michael Young is well aware of that.
Young so far is 0 for 8. He's hit the ball hard, though, at times. Back toward the middle. That'll get a run home. And it's going right through the hole. It'll get 2 runs home. Howard scores easily right behind Chase Utley. It's 3-0 Phillies. Pasternicki had it sized up, and his glove was a little deep, and it went right through the 5.
It wasn't a bad hop either. How many times do you talk about if you do the right thing, you may get more out of it? And there it is. Perfect example of doing the right thing, hitting the ball towards the middle of the diamond to get a run in, and then you get a break when the second baseman, Pasternicki, Tom says, doesn't make the play.
Well, they'll score 1 RBI for Michael Young and an error, which allows Ryan Howard to score. So Michael Young picks up his first ribby of the spring. 3-0 Phillies. And here's Dominic Brown. Dominic is 4 for 9 with 6 runs scored so far. Swing and a miss. It's 0-1. He also has 3 runs batted in, 2 home runs.
Well, he didn't recognize that pitch was a breaking ball or cutter. But I think in his mind he went up there looking for a fastball to hammer on the first pitch, especially with that big hole on the right side. And the wind blowing out. Oh. First curveball looked like, and it looked like it was hanging. Of course, we don't have to hit it.
Dominic hit one of the longer home runs you'll see here in Clearwater. In fact, we've seen 2 of these so far. One by Miguel Cabrera and then this one.
Yeah, that's a big-time homer over the batting eye. Came here the other day.
You know, he said he didn't know how far it went because he wasn't looking after he left the batter's box. And everybody was trying to describe to him how far it actually went. It went far.
Here's a long one.
And there's a base hit to right field. Young on his way to third. Hayward's throw cut off, and now Brown's caught between first and second. Young dancing off the third base bag. And here he comes. The throw to the plate, and Michael Young is tagged out.
Well, all bad stuff by the Phillies there, except for the swing by Dominic Brown. He hit a breaking ball away. It was a good swing, but then he gets frisky going around. Great job by Michael Young to first to third on that play. Then the Braves do a tremendous job cutting that ball off, and in the rundown play, executing it correctly. Here's the base hit. Now this is real good. Phillies should have first and third here. Watch it get cut off. Keep it low. Then the infielder can cut it off. And then Dominic Brown thinking, well, it's going to go through. I can wind up at second base. Now he's trying to stay in the rundown long enough for Young to score. He tries to score, and they get him. The only good thing by the Phillies, and that was the base hit.
Here's Darren Ruff taking the first pitch inside. All right, I've got 9-6-3, 4-6-2. I think I missed a number, though, in there somewhere.
You did a great job because I was just trying to watch a replay.
Darren Ruff 0 for 9 so far. He's been battling his sore right elbow. Charlie Manuel said it's because he's been playing the outfield so much. His arm's just getting used to making all those throws. And he whacks the ball foul. It's 1-1.
What'd you say that was? 9-6 what?
9-6-3, 4-6-2. I think I may have missed one.
Yeah, that's good enough. Thanks.
All right, I missed the pitcher coming over. So 4-1-2. 9-6-3, 4-1-2.
Thank you.
Over towards shortstop. And Ramiro Pena gobbles it up. The Phillies get 3 runs in the inning. They settle for 3. They leave one in scoring position. We head to the second here in Clearwater. Phillies 3 and the Braves nothing. Open up the season at Citizens Bank Park against the Kansas City Royals. Modell Sporting Goods opening day on Friday, April 5th at 4:05. Free rally towels for all fans. And then the 3-game series has a night game on Saturday, Turkey Hill Kids opening night. And then Sunday, April 7th, IBEW Local 98, Ryan Howard wiffle ball set for fans 14 and under. That's after the Phillies open the regular season against these Atlanta Braves. In fact, you're wondering about that wiffle ball bat and ball. We'll see more of that a little later on in the telecast.
Unfortunately.
Chris Johnson leads it off. He'll be the everyday third baseman. At least it seems that way for the Braves.
Terrific giveaway item, though.
Great item. 0-2 the count. And the pitch from Hamels. Ground ball foul. Hamels has 2 strikeouts so far. Johnson last year started with the Astros, then went over the Diamondbacks. Played 92 games with Houston, 44 with the D-backs. Overall, he hit .281 with 15 home runs and 76 runs batted in. Pretty good throwing in the Justin Upton deal.
Well, they need a third baseman. Chipper Jones, everybody knows, is retired, and Prado went in the deal.
Sounded like he broke his bat, caught by Rollins, one away here in the second. Well, earlier, Greg Murphy got a chance to talk with Phil's pitching coach, Rich Dubé.
All right, thanks, guys. Rich, one time through the starting rotation this spring so far, are the guys just about where you expected them to be at this time of the year?
Starting rotation's been fine, and it's going to take time for everybody. They got to get out there and get the reps. We've had some guys struggle out of the bullpen, but again, it's very, very early. As long as we're staying healthy and able to get our reps in and get our deliveries in, we'll come together at the end of this thing.
You know, one of the big storylines, of course, this spring that people are watching is that bullpen and to see how it will develop. As the pitching coach, what are you looking for? What are you hoping to see from some of these guys in an effort to stand up and make this team?
Consistency. I mean, you know, pitch out of the bullpen. You might have an outing here or there that you struggle, but it's a comfortable feeling to a manager and pitching coach that when we put you in there, we're going to get consistency, and that's what we're looking for. That and being able to handle the environment of Major League Baseball. So, again, it's very, very early right now. So I kind of wipe aside the first couple outings, and then we'll go from there.
Mike Adams is one guy that we haven't seen yet. I know you have and seen him at length. When can we expect to see him, and what have you seen from him on the side so far?
You see him today.
Okay.
Mike's scheduled to pitch today, and he's been throwing the ball fine. Actually, farther along than I expected, and he'll have some time in between outings here. We don't want to get him out there too many times too early, so he'll be out there today, and then we'll go from there.
All right, Rich, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Guys?
All right, Murph, thank you very much. We appreciate that. It's always good to hear from Rich Doobie. As he said, Mike Adams will pitch later on today. They expect Adams to make 8 appearances, or in that neighborhood, before the end of spring training. Cole Hamels, meanwhile, well, he looks pretty crisp today. 3 strikeouts.
Good cutter, looked like. Oh, that was a changeup. Boy, that thing really. You forget, that he throws a changeup. Left-handed pitcher will throw a changeup to a right-handed batter in, and that's so rare. Almost all the times from lefties are going to go down and away.
Ernesto Mejia is playing first base today for the Braves.
His command is really good. The ball is not in the middle of the plate to any of these hitters. And that's tough to do this early in the year.
Yeah, Mejia was hoping for a ball right in the middle of the plate. It looked like he was trying to send it to Dunedin.
Well, he'll corkscrew in a changeup.
Fastball upstairs, 1-1 the count. Mejia last year hit 24 home runs and had 92 runs batted in the minor leagues for the Braves. Playing first base today, Freddie Freeman will be the everyday first baseman for Atlanta. At a play, and it's 1-2. Braves like their big club, but they also like their farm system. They feel like they've got a number of players that will make an impact in the next several years.
I brought a kid over here today, a catcher named Bethencourt, Christian Bethencourt, that they really like.
And a called strike 3. Boy, he snuck one right on the inside part of the plate against Mejia. And Hamels has 4 strikeouts through the first 2 innings. Nothing across for the Braves. Cole Hamels, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely dealing this afternoon here in Clearwater. Bottom of the second, Phillies lead at 3-0. They scored 3 in the first against Paul Maholm, who's back out there. And will face Lance Nix, Eric Kratz, and then the top of the order, Ben Revere. Freddie Gonzalez getting set for his 3rd year as the manager of the Braves. Carlos Tosca, his bench coach, sitting over the railing there. Subscribe to MLB.TV Premium today and watch over 150 select spring training games live. Plus, every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand on over 250 mobile and connected devices. Visit Phillies.com for details.
And a couple pretty good instructors over here with them today. The crime dog is here, Fred McGriff. And the pride of Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania, Eugene Garber, is also here. Chance to catch up with Gino before the game. That was fun.
It was great watching the Phillies hitters. Kevin Franzen came up and said, we should all do, the hitters, the Fred McGriff follow-through in his honor while he's here.
That was some follow-through. It's very pronounced, majestic.
0-2 the count to Lance Nix.
Oh, what a player he was. He makes his home in this area.
A lot of folks talk about Fred McGriff as possibly getting more attention for the Hall of Fame with all of the steroid talk that's been going on recently, because his numbers seem to be as clean as any. And his career, even though it spanned a handful of teams, was, I guess, prolific to say the least. 493 home runs.
He was dangerous. From Tampa, from this area, as we said, and still lives here. There he is.
Talking to Jimmy Rollins, there's Mike Schmidt next to Fred McGriff. Fred McGriff still looks like he is in shape to play.
He does. Plays a lot of golf. Seen him at different places in this area. And that's nice. You know, Phillies are doing that. Obviously, with Mike Schmidt standing there, more and more teams bring these guys back.
Eric Kratz sends one to the air to right center field. It's playable. Todd Cunningham, the center fielder, makes the call. So Kratz is retired on one pitch. And back to the top of the order for Ben Revere.
You have a history of these two franchises. You can bring pretty good guys around to instruct. Is that the way Michael Jack keeping the sun out of his eyes?
I guess so.
That's cool. There's two real good pros right there. They play the game the right way, both of them. No hot dogging, just go out and play and beat people.
Fred McGriff, though, you think about the number of home runs, 493 home runs.
Well, we saw a lot of them, Tom, unfortunately.
Revere takes a strike. It's 0-1. McGriff is 26th all-time in home runs with his 493. Five-time All-Star. Oh, and 2 the count to Revere. Wheels, if you were signing the paperback version of your book, that ball would have went right into your lap. That's where it was.
That's right. That's where the signings take place, down in that area. You're right.
For From the Booth or View from the Booth, whichever.
View from the Booth, right. Thank you. Thank you for getting the title correct.
Revere walked his first time up and then came around to score the first run for the Phillies. Phillies scored 3 in the first. 0-2 the count. And 1 ball and 2 strikes to Revere.
See Ben Revere hit, the left fielder and center fielder are going to be out close to each other. And they're going to give him a lot of room in right center and probably the line, because he's not going to pull the ball all that often, especially against a left-handed pitcher. You see that defense overshift. And the count where he is right now with 2 strikes. Center fielder may move over a little bit now that he's even in the count. But for the most part, they're going to play him the other way.
Got us out to talk to Mahalem. Even though Mahalem's at 36 pitches, it looks like he's going to go at least 2 full, unless it unravels here. Maybe into the third. Braves are scheduled to throw Kimbrel today, Christian Martinez, David Hale. And the Phillies go down in order here in the bottom of the second. Nothing in Clearwater. Phillies lead it 3-0 over the Braves. Don't miss out on any Phillies news, alerts, or inside information. Sign up today for the CSNPhilly.com Phillies newsletter. Jim Salisbury is here covering the Phillies as he usually is in spring training. Phillies are on top 3-0 as we go to the top of the third. It'll be Todd Cunningham, Ramiro Pena, and Tyler Pasternicki who will bat for the Braves against Cole Hamels. If ever you could be dominant during a spring training game, that's what Cole Hamels is this afternoon. 4 strikeouts through 2 innings. It seems like the ball is going exactly where he wants it to go.
Command is really good, in and out, too. Using both sides of the plate. Fastball, cutter, and changeup.
He's at 26 pitches so far here in the third. He's only allowed the double to Justin Upton. That was back in the first. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Cunningham.
Well, the way things are going, he'll be the opening day pitcher against the Atlanta Braves, probably against Tim Hudson on April 1st at Turner Field.
Yeah, the Phillies will see Hudson and then Medlin in game 2, or vice versa.
Talking to Roger McDowell before the game, it appears Hudson still won, but Medlin had such a tremendous season last year that Roger couldn't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, the Braves no longer have Tommy Hanson. He was traded to the Angels. Back toward the middle, and Cole Hamels, as good an athlete on the mound as you will find, 1 away.
Yeah, he is such a good athlete. Ball's hit pretty hard, too. Nice play. Tried one more time today to get Roger to give the secret behind the hot foot that he used to give that would be delayed. Like he gave Vuk one night as we look at this replay. A change up and a good play there. He gave Vuk one in the first base coach's box that he was out there a couple minutes before the thing flared up and the flame came out. We had a video of that at one time. And he was able to somehow set a fuse.
That's great.
Oh, he was great. I said to him today, you know, I say this respectfully, but you're one of the last people I thought would ever be in a position like this. He says, oh, yeah. No way, the way I used to have a good time. But he's been a very good pitching coach since Leo Mazzoni was retired or left the Braves.
Mazzoni went on to be the pitching coach for the Baltimore Orioles with Sam Perlazzo as his manager.
Yep. They're great friends.
0-2 the count to Ramiro Pena over from the Yankees organization. Pena will be leaving for the World Baseball Classic, where he will play for Mexico. 0-2 pitch. Fouled away and remains 0-2. Rodrigo Lopez will also be leaving to play for Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. Adrian Gonzalez, Edgar Gonzalez will be part of that team. Liner to left field. Darren Ruff scrambling for it. Can't get it, and it goes on by him and rolls to the wall. Pena's on his way to second, thinking about 3, and on his way to third, and he'll get there easily. Ball gets away, and Hamels and Kratz back it up. Ball looked like it was catchable, and Darren just didn't read it off the bat.
It was sinking, yeah. It was a top spinner, and it was going down as fast as it was going out there. And you need a lot of experience to see that thing right off the bat and know you do one of 2 things. You come and get it immediately, or you realize you can and you make sure you get back and it's a single. And as you can see, he got caught in between. It turns into 3 bases.
So they'll score it as single, and you figure a 2-base error that allows Pena to go to third. And now Pasternicki, who struck out his first time up. Infield is back. The Phil's up 3-0. And Pasternicki lines one to left center field. That'll drop for a hit. And scoring from third is Pena. And it's a 3-1 ball game. So the third hit of the day allowed by Hamels.
They get that one up, out, and over the plate.
Cole at 34 pitches. The Phillies do have bullpen action behind him. And Jason Hayward, who struck out his first time up. Hayward chops one that'll find the hole on the right side. Pasternicki stumbled around second, so he'll hold up. So now 3 straight hits for the Braves, and they have first and second for Justin Upton.
Really good job by Hayward there to pull the ball with a hole open, but Dominic Brown made Brian Snitker stop that base runner at second because he charged it so well.
Well, this is the projected lineup for the Braves. Now, we mentioned that they don't have a bona fide leadoff hitter. They have talked about Andrelton Simmons, who is a fine prospect at shortstop leading off. B.J. Upton could lead off. Upton most likely will be the cleanup hitter. Freddie Freeman can move up and down the top part of the lineup. Dan Uggla has some holes, but still is a productive second baseman. And McCann's banged up still, but he'll probably be around in the early part of the regular season.
Laird's their backup this year,
Yep,
right?
Gerald Laird is the backup.
Ross is gone.
David Ross signed a contract with the Red Sox.
He was a terrific backup catcher.
Want to know the count to Upton. Change-up hit foul, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Cole probably needed to start missing a little bit because they were starting to really, as you can see in this inning, get very aggressive early in the count because he's throwing so many strikes. Strikes are great. Sometimes guys like Hamels and Lee, sometimes they have to miss once in a while or get it out of the zone because they throw so many strikes. Halliday's like that to a point too, that hitters will get very aggressive and go after stuff early and hurt them.
There's Joe Savory throwing in the bullpen for the Phillies. Phillies are scheduled to throw Jonathan Pettibone, Mike Adams, Jake Diekman, Ethan Martin in today's ball game, with Savory there to back up in case he needs to come in the middle of an inning. A little low, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Upton fouls it away again. Justin Upton is under control by the Braves through the 2016 season.
That term you just used, Tom, has become more and more important in Major League Baseball. Under control. To have some kind of a contract situation where you have a guy and you're not worried about their walk year coming up.
Meanwhile, his brother, who's on deck, signed a 5-year deal worth $75 million, so he too is under control.
He's established in a little bit to Upton in this at-bat. They may go away with changeup here. See if they can get a strikeout or a double play ball.
There you go, changeup. And it's the 5th strikeout for Hamels. There are 2 outs. Well, the Braves had a busy offseason, not only getting the Upton brothers, but they also tinkered with a handful of other spots. Obviously, the addition of Chris Johnson fills a void over third base with Chipper Jones retiring. But look at all the players they lost, including Chipper Jones. Jair Jurgens on a minor league contract with the Orioles. Bourne is with the Indians. Hanson with the Angels. BJ hits it back toward the middle. Chase Utley is there. And Hamels works out of a jam here in the 3rd. He does allow a run on the RBI single by Pastor-Nicky. He's through 3 onto the bottom of the 3rd here in Clearwater. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Phillies with 3 hits so far. All 3 hits came in the first inning when they scored 3 runs against Paul Maholm, who's still out there as we go to the bottom of the third. Phillies lead down to 2. It's 3-1. And Maholm will face Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, and Ryan Howard. In between innings, you see Michael Young chatting with Darren Ruff. Darren had a couple plays over in left field. We've seen a lot of that, Wheels, I think. Good. You know, Chase Utley with some of the younger players, Michael Young with some of the younger players, Jimmy Rollins with some of the younger players.
Great time to do it.
Rollins grounded out to short his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. Takes a curveball for a strike.
That's all that play, as we said, is all reading the ball off the bat. And it's easier said than done when you don't have a lot of experience.
One of the things that stands out about Ruff, and I guess this shouldn't be an oddity in this day and age, is just how hard he's worked, though, to try to become a left fielder.
You try, and you hope it can happen.
He's worked with a number of different guys, including Juan Samuels over in the first base coach's box.
Ball comes off the bat different. Right-handed hitter, left-handed hitter.
1-2 the count to Rollins. It'll be Rollins, Utley, and Ryan Howard here in the bottom of the third against Maholm. It's cracked foul, and it takes a hop over the diamond dugout.
I just got the foul ball tossed back to him. Like, man, a Hall of Famer tossed me that. Ryan Sandberg.
Joe Sabry, by the way, has sat down in the Phillies bullpen as we get ready for a new pitcher to probably come in the top of the 4th inning. Looks like Mike Adams is starting to throw as Rollins is down on strike. Second strikeout for Maholm, who's kind of found something since that first inning. And 1 away here in the third. There's Adams. Cole has made his way down the left field line into the clubhouse. He allowed just the 1 run in 3 innings, pitched very well.
Great command today. Interesting to see what he says about whether he thought he could throw it where he wanted to. Then they started swinging real early on him in that 1 inning and had the fielding misplay too.
Here's Chase, who singled to left center field his only time up. He's 2 for 4 in spring training games, and it's 1-0. Chase also came around to score back of the first. Center field, that's pretty well hit. Going back on it is Cunningham. Back to the track. It is off the top of the wall. And Utley already at second base. He'll stop there. It's a 1-out double, and he smoked it.
Yeah, he didn't miss a home run by much on that one. Really hit it well. Got a little help from the wind, taking it out towards center field. Look at that good swing. Look at the base that he has right now, though. When you watch Chase Utley hit, we always watch it, his hands and how quick they are. But right now, his legs are stronger. Look at that, right on the yellow line or below it, and then bounces back. But when he has a base like that and can hit, what a difference.
Now for the Phillies, their 4th hit of the afternoon. It brings Ryan Howard to the plate. Howard doubled homer run and scored his first time up. He's 1 for 1. He's 7 for 13. Ryan among the leaders in spring training baseball in batting average now. In fact, he came in 5th. And with that RBI double, he'll shift up a little bit more.
And a pretty conventional defense, too. Whether the Braves are going to stay this way when the season starts with a left-hander, we'll see.
I can't imagine they'll stay this way.
Every once in a while, and I can't remember who they were. Now, see the center fielder straight away, too. Normally with Ryan Howard batting, the center fielder goes towards left center. Every once in a while, you'd play a team that didn't overshift him.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Howard. Outside, 2-1.
Good swing he had in the first pitch. A fastball, and he went it. He was aggressive, and it was a strike. He just swung and missed at it. Those are the kind of things you like to see in an RBI situation. Opposed to take that first ball fastball, and then they start diddling around, and you're 2 strikes and chase one. He throws a breaking ball behind in the count there.
Howard lifts it to right center field. Cunningham over into the alleyway. And Utley's on his way to third. And if you're wondering whether Chase is running well and whether his knees are bothering him, he's running the bases as if it was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's good base running, too, because you don't have to get to third on that play because there's already 1 out. But he read that the outfielder, Cunningham, was going to catch that ball going to his left and really have trouble throwing back across his body. So he figures, well, I'll go to third and scoring a wild pitch or something. There he goes right back and tags up. It's just smart base running. If there's any chance you'd be thrown out of third on that play with 1 out, you stay at second.
So Mahalm works from the windup with Michael Young at the plate. And it's 1 ball and no strikes.
They're really playing him up the middle with the second baseman, Pasternicki. Young hits a lot of balls in the hole. To right. See all the room he has there on the right side.
It's foul deep down the left field line. Folks walking along the concourse have no idea what's coming their way.
Turned out to be a great day. There you go. How about that? Where'd that come from? Somebody in the bullpen throw it up here?
In the dirt. Good play by Gaddis, the catcher, to keep it in front.
See, and there's the thing about, as you said, Tom, a good play, but there's the thing about Utley getting to third base on that play, just reading the ball correctly. Maybe that bounces around, you steal a run then. He's very good at walking lead off third, too. He knows how to do it where you keep your body, where you keep your eyes, and you're in motion at the right time.
Back toward the middle, off the foot of Mahalem, picked up by Johnson. And not in time, a run scores. It'll be a base hit for Michael Young, his first of the spring. And it's his second RBI of the day. And the Phillies lead it 4-1.
I'm going to check on Mahalem. It almost looked like he tried to kick at that and see if something good would come of it. Like keep it in the infield. Maybe he wouldn't be able to score from third. No, 2 outs, he's going to score. See if he kicks at this intentionally. I don't know.
I don't know if he was trying to get out of the way of it or if he kicked it.
It's smarter to get out of the way of it when it's hit that hard.
Yeah, Johnson was playing deep at third, so by the time he charged and barehanded, Young was able to get up the first base line. Dominic Brown, last time up, singled.
They have to be pleased with that play by Johnson. He did a nice job charging that, making a play out of it. Here it is again. I guess he's just trying to get out of the way.
I would think so.
You wouldn't want to try and kick save those kind.
Well, there have been guys that would.
Oh, yeah. I thought he did when I first, when it was hit, but I don't know. He's a left-hander. I'm not going to sit up here and try and read a lefty's mind.
Those wacky left-handers.
They are. It's not their fault.
That's a high strike, and it's 2-2. Vic Carapazza, the home plate umpire. Carapazza was named to the full-time staff of umpires this year.
3 pretty good umpires retired. Ed Rapiwana, Tim Tashida, and Field and Culberth.
Darryl Cousins.
Darryl Cousins. They were all good umpires.
Inside 3-2.
They added 3 new guys.
There's Darren Ruff on deck. Michael Young not being held on. He'll take off on the pitch. Dominic Brown just missed that pitch. He fouls it away. It was a breaking ball.
The hanger, too.
Yep. And it remains 3-2.
Yeah, pretty good swing.
Luis Avilan is in the on deck, or excuse me, is in the bullpen. Well, it's the pitcher's on deck circle, the bullpen.
Yeah. Saw that guy last year.
Mahomes about to throw his 62nd pitch of this game.
He won't be throwing any more in the bullpen. He got his work in.
I would say he has gotten his work in. In the dirt, ball 4, first and second for the Phillies, and Darren Ruff will get another chance. Ruff grounded out his only time up, so he's 0 for 1 as Brown goes to first. Young goes to second.
Good at bat.
For groups of 25 or more, receive special discounts and group recognition if you decide to purchase some group tickets. There are many options for groups to take advantage of at Citizens Bank Park, including private suites and pregame party areas. What better way to take in a Phil's game than with a group of family, friends, or business associates? Check Phillies.com for all the great details. Well, Roger McDowell trotted out to the mound. They're going to leave Maholm in the ballgame as Darren Ruff, who is 0 for 10 so far this spring, will bat with a runner in scoring position. In fact, runners on first and second. Dominic Brown at first, Michael Young at second.
Ruff just does not appear comfortable at this point in spring training. You know, when you're a veteran player and you struggle a little bit early, all that kind of thing, nobody, whatever. But when you're in his situation, you press a little bit. You're trying to impress the management.
Darren last year, as everybody knows, hit 38 home runs in the minors. Then hit some home runs in the majors, hit some home runs in winter ball.
Had a real good eye of the strike zone, too, and that's seen so far of him. To me, he looks a little antsy, which you can understand it for a young player.
Lines that one towards center field. That'll drop in for a base hit. Darren Ruff's first hit of the spring will bring home Michael Young. Dominic Brown goes to third, and Ruff pulls into second. It's a 5-1 ball game.
That's a good swing he had there. Just took a ball away from him, didn't pull it. Hit it where it was pitched and got himself ahead. Now Freddie's going to come out, Gonzalez, their manager, and come and get Maholm after that. That had to feel good for him. Good base running, too, by both Brown and Ruff to read the throw. This time was high. This one's not going to be able to get cut off. Good swing there. Pitches away. Hits it where it's pitched, and then they ran the base as well. Cunningham comes over here, and the throw is very high going to third base. Ruff reads that, so he can coast into second.
Phillies have had a good day offensively so far. They lead it 5-1. We've got a pitching change here in Clearwater. Phillies lead the Braves by 4. back here in Clearwater. A pitching change for the Atlanta Braves in the middle of the third. Phillies have scored 5 runs overall, 3 in the first, 2 in the third. And they'll turn things over to Luis Avilan, who will face Lance Nix with runners on second and third. Avilan last year had a win and an ERA of 2.00 for Atlanta. 33 strikeouts overall. He wound up pitching in 31 games out of the bullpen for Atlanta. And so far this spring, he's pitched in 2 games, and he's allowed 1 hit and has walked 2. He's faced just 8 batters. Nick struck out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. And a strike, and it's 2-1 to Nix. Nix will be followed by Eric Kratz. Nix is the DH today. The Phillies and most National League teams will use the DH for the next, I would think, the next 10 days or so before pitchers start to hit. It's usually the middle of spring training that they make that adjustment. Spring training's a little longer, though, so that adjustment may not be made till later on. Ooh. Inside, 3-1.
Yeah, this is a game normally you have the pitchers hitting, 2 National League teams playing. But a lot of times, you know, they don't pitch long enough in the game to even get in that bat where they would be up in maybe a bunting situation, especially this early. Today a little different because they went longer.
3-2 the count to Nix. Lance so far is 1 for 6 in the spring. He's played a couple games as the designated hitter for the Phillies. He'll get some at bats and get some opportunities out in the outfield. Back toward the box, off the glove of Avilan, barehanded by Pastor Nicky, and they just get Lance Nix. The Phillies are retired here in the third. They do get a couple more. They lead it 5-1 as we go to the fourth. Phillies baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Top of the fourth inning here in Clearwater, Florida, where the Phillies lead it 5-1 over the Atlanta Braves. New pitcher coming on for the Phillies. We'll tell you about him in a moment. But first, let's bring in Greg Murphy to talk about the other pitcher, Cole Hamels, who Murph, I thought looked very strong through 3 innings today.
Yeah, and he was just in talking to reporters, and, you know, he seemed to be very pleased with his outing, as he should be. Talked a little bit about, hey, I'm just building up. I'm throwing different pitches. He says he still hasn't thrown all of his pitches yet this spring, but we did notice this guy today. He threw a lot more changeups. He was asked about that, and he said, look, you know, if you want your changeup to be your best pitch, which Cole Hamels does, it's a field pitch, and it's a pitch that you need to throw often and really get a feel for it down here in spring so that when you head north, you know you have it. So working on that today and working against a very tough Braves lineup, which he also talked about. He said, you know, it reminds him of the 2006, 7, and 8 Phillies teams where, you know, you got to face these guys 3 or 4 times throughout a game. You might strike them out one time, but you know they have the power to send any ball out of the ballpark. And he said, you know, it's going to be a challenge this year, but certainly he is looking forward to it and very pleased with his outing here today.
Well, he should be. I think he's looked very good these first couple of outings, and now Mike Adams will take over for the Phillies. Adams in his spring debut. And the first pitch to Chris Johnson is taken for a strike. You know, I think the part, Murph, that you talked about going through the lineup a second time, it may give Cole an idea of how he wants to pitch these guys, that he has to maybe change it a little bit the second time through.
There's no doubt about it. And, you know, we have to remember that these are spring training games, so he may not be pitching these guys the way he'll pitch when they do head north. He really is trying to work on different things and see where those holes are and see what works against particular guys and what does not. And that's really what it's all about. You know, it's also interesting, he was asked by our Scott Palmer about just this division and how the Nationals are a good team and this Braves team certainly looks formidable. And he said, you know what, that's good for the Phillies because it's that kind of division that will bring out the best in this clubhouse. Certainly that is what folks are hoping, that it'll be a very competitive division the entire year. But, you know, Cole's a competitor, as are most of the guys inside that clubhouse, so that's what they're looking forward to.
Well, including Michael Young, who makes a fine backhanded stab on the ground ball off the bat of Chris Johnson. 1 away here in the 4th inning.
Yeah, he makes a real good point about that, especially not wanting to show a hitter maybe a pitch that you maybe just don't want to really bring out right now. From the breaking ball, even that little change up there, as you see Michael gets that ball across the field there. Boy, he catches the ball when it's actually hit right there to him. Pretty good arm.
Well, now Evan Gattis is the hitter. Gattis struck out his first time up. So 1 away here in the 4th inning. Mike Adams is, Phillies' hope is going to be the foundation of the 8th inning for the Phils this year. He has been throwing on the side. He's thrown a handful of bullpen sessions. Eric Kratz was saying the other day that he almost looks too ready at this point. And as Rich Doobie told Murph earlier today, Mike Adams is probably ahead of schedule as far as where the Phillies thought he would be. He had last year what they called thoracic outlet syndrome, which is a pinching of the nerve between his top rib and his collarbone. And he said it almost felt like he was, you know, throwing a weighted ball all season long. So they took care of that, and he seems to be fully healthy. That ball slapped to right field. It'll drop in for a base hit for Gattis. A 1-out single here in the 4th.
Gattis has a chance to make this club. He's a young player, and one of the guys they've had on the Braves that played 1 year and just quit. Just went and started driving across the country. They actually got him back, but he has as much power as anybody on this ball club. He probably won't be the everyday catcher. It's going to be a job that he's going to have to learn how to catch and catch different pitchers. But in terms of hitting and raw talent, this guy has it. 26 years old. Wouldn't consider him, however, to be a rookie. But just in terms as a catcher, and you know, they can play a pretty long time. Power, you can't teach.
Well, he's 6 for 11 right now in spring games, including the hit today. Sarge said 26 years old. He had 18 home runs last year. Here's Mejia, who takes a strike. It's 0-1. Brian McCann is coming back from shoulder surgery. So that's one of the reasons why Gattis has a chance to possibly make this team, depending on the health of Brian McCann.
Yeah, well, with that operation on the labrum, really, he should have been playing last year. And the only reason he ended up playing is because of Chipper Jones. Chipper Jones last year, and he wanted to give it all he had. Brian McCann, fine catcher. But it cost him some, and need your arms, your legs to be able to hit.
0-2 the count to Mejia. Struck out looking his only time up. Back over the mound. Utley waits. Rollins picks it up and in time to get Gaddis. Ryan Howard looked like he didn't see that right away. And it almost dragged him off the bag. Well, it did drag him off the bag, but he hung on enough to make the play.
Well, he put a little something on that as he comes in. Just about the only way he could make that play. Always important to know who's running as the ball hits him in the heel there. Little snow cone over there at first base. Catching that ball right in the webbing end of the glove.
Oh, 2 outs. Todd Cunningham, the center fielder, is up for the second time. Runner at second. That's Evan Gaddis. One of the aspects that everybody knows the Phillies struggled with last year was the 8th inning. In fact, the Phillies blew 13 8th inning leads in 2012. They also blew a handful of leads with 2 outs in the 8th inning. They were 1 out away from getting to Jonathan Papelbon with the lead. And whoever it was that was pitching in the 8th couldn't hold on. I think it was 8 times last year, Sarge. There were 2 outs with the lead, and the Phillies blew the lead.
Wow.
I mean, you think about even if those 13 games, even if you won 8 of them, the Phillies would have won 89 games instead of 81.
No, that's pretty big. And I wonder how many of those had to do with defense or guys not catching the ball that maybe had some to do with that. That always goes hand in hand.
Well, and the other thing, too, there were games in the 8th inning where the Phillies were down, let's say, by 1 or 2, and the game was blown open. Yeah. So they had no chance in the bottom of the 8th or the top of the 9th to come from behind. I believe that ball may have gone into the press box toward the corner of it. Guys were scattering around. That's Dennis Deitch who's standing up, went right through that window, right through David Murphy and Ryan Lawrence. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count to Todd Cunningham. Just missed inside, 3-2.
Braves are going to have one of the better outfields in the league today, probably in both leagues. Hayward came into his own. Well, he came into his own as a rookie, but really last year showed that he still has some real good power.
There's a strikeout for Adams, so he comes on to pitch the 4th inning, his first outing of the spring, and it was a successful one. He allows a 1-out single. That was it, and he picks up the strikeout of Todd Cunningham to wrap up the top of the 4th. Weeknights at 5, watch the best talk in Philly sports. Michael Barkat and Philly's top sports writers have plenty to talk about on Daily News Live. Weeknights at 5, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Phillies will hit the road tomorrow and Saturday. Tomorrow they'll be in Tampa to take on the Yankees. Saturday to Dunedin, which is right next door. Take on the Blue Jays. Jake Diekman is in the bullpen, getting set to start to throw. Figure he'll pitch the 5th inning for the Phillies after a very good 4th inning like Mike Adams. And now Eric Kratz will lead it off in the bottom of the 4th against Luis Avilan, the pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. Kratz is 0 for 1. He swung at the first pitch, his first time up. Sarge, you started talking about the Braves outfield. Hayward in right, B.J. Upton in center, and Justin Upton in left. Athletically, is there a better outfield in baseball?
Boy, I'd have to think not, especially being that young. I mean, there's guys that can run, guys that have really proved it before, I think is the main thing. It's not that they just have talent. These guys have been in the league for a while.
Gaddis, with the mask still on, makes the catch. The ball was shot pretty high up in the air to the right of the plate. And 1 out.
I think it could be fun times for the Atlanta Braves in that outfield, especially being able to play with your brother, and know for sure that there'll be some friendly competition.
Freddie Gonzalez, I think, is excited to, about the changes that his organization has made. And if you're the Upton brothers, Justin, who's in left field right now, and BJ, the comments coming out of from both during the offseason, just that it was a dream come true. As Ben Revere bunts to third, and Chris Johnson's throw is not in time. Revere just beat the throw. The first baseman, Mejia, I think, was still on the bag.
Well, what a tough ball to bunt. That ball seemed to be up and in, and he ended up getting it down. That's one of the tools that Ben has. Take a look at it. See how the ball up and in there, but he deadened that ball. Look how he deadened it. Coming in, there's just no chance almost to get him. This guy can really run. Going to be really an exciting player this year. Bang, bang there at the first base.
4th hit of the spring for Ben Revere, so he's aboard. Rollins lines it to center. And there are 2 outs.
Well, Charlie likes what he sees so far from him. He has the green light, meaning that he can run anytime he wants. Yesterday, he ran when Ryan Howard was up at the plate trying to steal third base. That's a no-no. There's Charlie. One of the reasons he's giving him the green light is to see if he knows when to run, when not to run. It's the only way you're able to tell once you give a player a green light.
Probably a chance he'll run here with Utley up and 2 outs. What do you think?
Well, you usually like to give him at least one shot, but with 2 outs there, why not? Usually like to let a power hitter at least have one swing before you go.
Outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
The other thing that you're trying to look at as a base stealer is you want to try and pick a pitch that is going to be an off-speed pitch to be able to steal the base.
A little quick pitch from Avilan, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Phillies lead at 5-1. They scored 3 in the first, 2 in the third. Offensively, they've done a nice job already today. They have 5 runs on 7 hits. Utley has 2 of those hits and 2 of the runs scored.
You see him taking balls off straight away center field. It shows you that he's not too far back from coming back, I should say. I'd like to see him attack the ball a little bit more, and he's going to be hitting third, driving that ball out of the ballpark. He's got something to prove this year, and sure he'd like to play about 150 games, 155 games. Charlie talked about giving all those guys days off this year.
And a breaking pitch from Avilan and a strikeout of Chase Utley, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left for the Phillies. 4 in the books here in Clearwater.
Well, Cole had a great outing as they stretched him out to 3 innings here. He's in command of just about all of his pitches. He throws that changeup in his sleep. Haven't broken out too many of the curveball. That was a cutter there that you saw. Again, he's around the plate there on the flag. That's what you like. He's feeling good about himself coming off the outing. Could be our #1 starter this year. We'll have to see about that. 5-1 fighting Fields here in the top of the 5th inning. Looking good after getting beat up yesterday, I would say.
All right, let's check in with Greg Murphy.
Much, D-Mac, here with Mike Adams, and our first opportunity to get to see you. I know you've been throwing obviously a lot of bullpens and work with Rich and the other guys. How did it feel though to be out there in the Phil's uniform for the first time in front of these guys?
It felt good. I've been been waiting for this day. Just to get back out there after surgery and stuff, and kind of see how it feels and really go at it. But everything felt good. The half inning before was a little bit longer than I wish it would have been, but hey, I'll take all those runs, and I'm just looking forward to my next one now.
Coming off the injury that we've talked about, is it a little bit different when you come into a spring and you're not sure, just where you're going to be in terms of the injury, or did you know right out of the chute that you were going to be fine and be able to throw in these games?
Well, no. I mean, I've known since mid-December that I was going to be fine and ready for these games. I think the only thing we were kind of we're just going to take it a little bit easy, from the beginning. That way I don't have to throw a whole bunch of innings before the season started. But I knew I was going to be fine. The thing was just get out there and start competing a little bit.
The role of that 8th inning guy in baseball has really started to, over the past decade or so, it's such an important part of a baseball game.
Yep.
You're going to be handed the ball in the 8th inning many times, and it was a problem spot for this team last year. How much do you relish the chance to help this team in that role?
I love it. I mean, to me, 8th inning is just like closing. It's the importance of it has really picked up the past few years, and some of the best teams in the game have had strong bullpens, and in order for us to get where we need to be, we're going to have that lockdown type bullpen, 7th, 8th, and 9th. So, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward forward to getting the ball handed over to me from our starting staff and hand it over to Pat.
Everybody's excited about it as well. Mike, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. We'll see you in a couple days, I guess, back out on the mound.
All right, thanks.
Mike Adams, guys, back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Well, he was excited to get back out there. I thought it was interesting, Sarge. He was talking about the length of time from the bottom of the third until he went out there. He was probably all ready to go, and the inning just kept getting longer and longer.
Yeah, he said it went longer, but he's right about one thing, though, Tom. You're going to need to have someone in that 8th inning to make sure you can tie it down. And he said also, at times, it's just as important as that 9th inning. And sometimes you're facing those guys that hit the ball out of the ballpark. Every time you're out there doesn't make it's going to be an easy time for you. In that 8th inning, let me tell you something. You get tested just like you do in that 9th inning a lot during the course of the season.
Well, there's Jonathan Pettibone, who's warming in the bullpen for the Phillies, a starting pitcher in the minor leagues, and pitching behind Craig Kimbrell, who's firing in the Braves bullpen. He'll be the next one out for Atlanta in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jake Diekman's on the mound for the Phillies. He just walked the leadoff batter, and he fires a strike to Tyler Pasternicki with nobody out here in the 5th. Diekman last year 1-1 with a 3.95 ERA in 32 games for the Phillies. There were times where he was dominant. There were other times where he looked like a guy who was just trying to figure some things out.
I think every young player goes through that. Great when you have that early success. But what it's all about is being able to do that day in and day out, year in and year out. And usually the way that comes is by playing games. Got to have the experience.
Inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, for the younger pitchers too, figure out what is your out pitch. What's your best pitch? You know, best pitch a lot of times, Greg Maddux would say, is the best pitch is to throw a strike. And I would think, though, as a reliever, you got to know your best pitch coming in where you can get a particular hitter out. Feeling confidence, whether or not it's your fastball or your off-speed pitch. You can spot that fastball. Everything else seems to kind of fall right into place. I mean, you remember Cole Hamels early on. He won with 2 pitches. Fastball and a changeup.
Back toward the middle, caught into the air by Diekman, and they will double up Ramiro Pena. He's kind of a knuckleball going back to the mound.
Long arms. He was able to corral the ball and get it over to Ryan Howard. Take a look at it. It's ball off the end of the bat. So it's kind of coming back toward him a little. And after that, everything becomes easy.
Well, now 2 outs for Diekman, and here's Jason Hayward, who's 1 for 2 today. Hayward has struck out. He's also single. Both of those at-bats came against Hamels. The first pitch from Diekman is a ball. It's 1-0. From Bright House Field in Clearwater, Florida, along with Gary Matthews, Chris Wheeler, and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy. It's the Braves and the Phillies. A chopper to second for Hayward and a room service hop for Chase Utley. So Diekman was able to brush aside the leadoff walk. Braves go quietly in their half of the 5th. Phil's enjoying a 4-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Monday, April 8th, the Phillies begin a 3-game series against the New York Mets. McDonald's opening week T-shirt will be given out for fans 15 and over. Tuesday the 9th is the Hatfield Dollar Dog Night to start the year for the Phillies. And then Wednesday, April 10th is also 7:05 start. Orders can be made very easily by going to Phillies.com. Bottom of the 5th inning, 5-1 Phillies on top. It's Craig Kimbrell on the back of the mound for the Braves. Kimbrell last year 42 saves for the Braves, an earned run average of 1.01. He's led the National League in saves in each of the last 2 years, 46 in 2011, 42 in 2012. He's now a 2-time All-Star. And he's on to face Ryan Howard, Michael Young, and Dominic Brown.
It can be very difficult to hit from the right side because he kicks that leg over. You got to really have the heart of a lion to stay in there in that batter's box as hard as he throws.
Oh, that ball is well hit, and it's not coming back. Opposite field, home run for Ryan Howard into the Phillies bullpen. It's 6-1 Phils, the first homer of the spring for Howard.
And that's where you like to see him hitting them, is through left center. That tells you that he's staying right on the ball, and when you drive a ball that far, that means that you hit the ball right on the screws. Sure, he's glad to be able to see that and to feel that. Take a look at it. That's where you don't want to miss him. Sure, it's right down the middle, but the fact is, you still got to be able to hit him. There's that familiar pose that we become accustomed to.
Oh, Howard today, 2 for 3, a double, a home run, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. And he's now 8 for 15 this spring.
Yeah, one of the things too, though, the balls that he's been hitting have been hard.
Young takes up and in. It's 2-0.
So far in his young career, I can tell you, he doesn't particularly like facing the fighting fields just because of some of the problems he's had there in the past.
Up the third base line, a foul ball.
And he used that glove out there on that third base line with the ball girl trying to pick the ball up.
Ball obviously took a bad hop, Sarge.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. Might help, though, to get off that chair.
3-1 the count. Phillies now at 6 runs on 8 hits today. They have 3 extra base hits, including the home run by Howard.
Should have an aggressive swing on this fastball here.
Dominic Brown's been on base twice today. A single his first time up, a walk his last time. I wonder if that's the last at-bat of the day for Ryan Howard. 3 at-bats in the books. 5 innings. That's usually when Charlie starts making some changes. Up high, 1-0 the count to Brown.
Well, Charlie says he likes what he sees with Dominic Brown. Said he's really attacking the baseball, and before had his hands where he just wasn't going through the ball.
That ball is hit well. It's going to go foul, but man, it is crushed.
That's exactly what I'm talking about there, where he's saying he's usually in back of the ball now and just not feeling for it. When you hit a ball that quick inside, that would tell me that your hands have gotten a lot quicker. That ball inside there, 90 plus, he's able to turn on that ball. See exactly where this pitch is. See how he just turns on that? We talked about it before, clearing your hips. And that's right. What does he do the next time up? The next pitch, he goes outside.
Chopper to shortstop. And that might be 2 because it was hit so hard. It is 2. Ooh, dropped by the first baseman Mejia, so not 2. 6-4 on the put out at second.
I was looking at his glove like it had a hole in it. Well, it hit it right there in the palm.
Well, he's tinkering with the laces. Got to tighten those babies up.
That had nothing to do with the drop of the ball. As you take a look at this right here, just hit him in a bad spot right in the middle of the glove. It's a brand new glove, brand new Rollins.
Darren Ruff, so far today, has singled home a run. He's also grounded out to shortstop, his first hit of the spring. They have, by the way, scored an error to the first baseman Mejia on that throw. So it's the second error of the day for the Braves.
Tell it's a little bit early too. Pitch is not as sharp. That breaking ball he usually throws, it just really darts down. That one there, a lot of break there to it.
We don't have the gun on Kimbrel either. It does look like his velocity is a little slower than what it will be when the season gets underway.
Yeah. But it's
still up there.
Oh no, it's 90 plus, no doubt.
Ruff hits it to third. That's a fair ball down the third base line. Brown on his way to third. He'll be held there, and Darren Ruff will pull into second with a one-out double. That might ease him a little bit, getting a couple hits in today's ball game.
Yeah, he was starting to press a little bit there, and that's what happens with younger players. Even though he's done very well last year, it's his ball is hit right down the line, out in front of that just a little bit. Automatic double when that ball headed down that left field line. Braves have the infield in. Sorry about that, Tom.
That's all right. They're down 6-1. They have Lance Nix at the plate, so they decide to bring the infield in with one out here in the fifth inning. And Nix rips one, diving stop by Mejia. He gets the runner at first, but Brown slides in safely at the plate. Well, you're not going to hit a ball any harder than that from Lance Nix. He does get an RBI, and it's now 7-1 Phillies.
Now Lance sitting on that fastball all the way. Give credit there for Dominic Brown on that base running to be able to score on that hard line drive. Take a look at it as it catches right in the webbing again. He'll be looking at that glove to see if it has a hole in it again. Steps on first. By then, no chance to get Dominic. See him coming in and sliding. Just read that ball very well.
Eric Kratz, who had a big home run against Kimbrel in the regular season, swings at the first pitch in this at-bat. And Justin Upton following it the whole way as the wind takes it every which way for the final out. Well, Ryan Howard started the inning with a ball the opposite way, his first home run of the spring. And speaking of big swings, that's right. It's time to take a look at some big swings, not only now, but also when we get back. You got to stay tuned for this one.
We are heading
heading into the top of the sixth with the Phillies in a 7-1 lead over the Atlanta Braves. And you know what, T-Mac and Sarge, it's not just the players that are getting put through their paces down here in Clearwater. The broadcasters also working hard, and we have video proof of it today as Sarge is stretching out for our early morning wiffle ball game. Now, Sarge, that was a good pitch. It hit you in the thigh, and I had to hold you back. I didn't want you to take out T-Mac there. Wheels, not the best effort. Sarge seemed to like it, but watch this. Wheels gets a piece of this one. Knocks it right past.
I should have made that
T-Mac.
play.
Yeah, I think maybe you should have. T-Mac at the bat, looked deep, but I went over the shoulder and let that one fall right in.
Show off.
And I thought I got all of that one, but Wheels, nice effort, Wheels. After the game, of course, Sarge had some post-game comments.
Fun game to play. It kind of takes me back to when long time ago.
I was going to say, Sarge, did they have football back then?
Yeah, they did have football. They had, you know what? Yes, they did have all of that.
Really?
You know, and telephones, guys.
Really? No television.
No. Well, yeah, the big consoles.
The big consoles, indeed. Guys, all part of what's going to be a great promotion coming up on April 7th once the regular season starts. It's the last game of the first homestand against the Kansas City Royals. IBEW Ryan Howard wiffle ball set is going to be given out at Citizens Bank Park. And you see the mark right here on the ball. I think that's where that T-Mac went deep earlier in the game right there. That's right. Well done, T-Mac.
I appreciate that.
You know what? It's terrific. And kids are going to get this up at the ballpark. Just one of the great promotions that always the folks here with the Phils come up with for stuff in Citizens Bank Park. So we're looking forward to that,
guys.
The
guys at IBEW, I mean, they've been great over the years. We all know that. I mean, some of the T-shirt giveaways that they've had. But I think that's a good one. I mean, kids don't play enough wiffle ball, I think, like we did when we were kids. I mean, it's always a great thing to do.
Yeah, and if you get hit with the ball, it doesn't hurt as much. But, you know, again, a curve ball and the ball moves different ways.
Yeah.
It's what a great game.
How about that submarine pitch I threw to you?
How about it?
Waved it right on by you.
Yeah, Sarge, you were whining an awful lot if it didn't hurt. I mean, you took that one in the thigh. I thought you were going to carry off.
And let me tell you, that brought me back to my days, like I was saying. Automatically the bat was dropping. I'm staring out there. So
it got dicey. Yeah,
you wanted nothing to do with this.
All it is some intimidation. So when you intimidate the pitcher, guess what? He's going to throw you a fat one the next time out there. That is for sure. Oh boy.
Well, we have to look forward to that, obviously, that giveaway and all the other great giveaways that will be part of the schedule at Citizens Bank Park in 2013. Jonathan Pettibone, by the way, is taken over for the Phillies on the mound. Pettibone facing Justin Upton to begin the top of the sixth inning. Changes for the Phillies. And over at third base, Cody Ashe takes over. He's played pretty well there. Freddie Galvis takes over for Jimmy Rollins. And around at second base is Pete Orr. John Mayberry, meanwhile, is taken over at first base for Ryan Howard. 2-2 the count. And the pitch outside. Tommy Joseph is the new catcher for the Phillies. Enciarte will be the left fielder for the Phillies as we move forward. There's Tommy Joseph. Ben Revere and Dominic Brown, they remain in the game for the Phils. 3-2 pitch. And it's fouled away. Jonathan Pettibone is one of the guys we've heard a lot about in the Phillies system over the last couple of years. You see his numbers in the minor leagues last year. He had 13 wins between AA and AAA. 9 for the Reading Phillies, who are now the Fightin' Phils. Swing and a miss. Gets the strikeout of Justin Upton. Pretty good late movement on that pitch, Sarge.
Yeah, it sure was. It looked to be a little bit of a cutter going away from him. Toughest pitch, too, for a right-hander. You're thinking that ball may be inside. You see how he's off balance there? That ball way away. You know, the pitch like that, all you're trying to do is foul that off. Hope that you can get another pitch the next time.
Here's B.J. Upton with one out. And he takes high. It's 1-0. Pettibone was promoted to Lehigh Valley during the 2012 season. And with Lehigh Valley in 7 games, he was 4-1. His ERA, a very good 2.55. And Ashe with his first opportunity. And there are 2 outs.
Third baseman Chris Johnson.
B.J. Upton is done, and Pettibone now will face Chris Johnson. Pettibone will probably start in AAA again. He's now 22 years old. Phillies picked him up in the 3rd round of the 2008 draft. He's got great size. He's 6'5" and a little more than 200 pounds. That ball's hit well to left field. Enciarte is going back, and that one is gone. Home run for Chris Johnson. It's his 2nd RBI of the spring, and it's now a 7-2 ball game.
That's the one thing. This Brave team, with the athletes that they have on it, it appears that they're going to be able to score some runs. See where this pitch is as he turns on it. Boy, that's in the happy zone. Ball coming right down almost into his swing. And when you get extension, know it's going out there. You can tell by the batter's reaction, barely even looking at it. He can just go on sound. He knows that the ball is going out of the ballpark.
I like this, though. He's ready to go already. And you get the ball back, a quick conversation with Tommy Joseph, and then all of a sudden right back to the mound, get ready to fire again.
Yeah, well, needs another ball when it goes over that fence.
Want to know the count to Evan Gaddis, who is 1 for 2. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, I marvel over guys like this that can just stop playing and all of a sudden maybe turn the flame back on to get it going again. And at the age of 26, I mean, you know, he still has a little bit to learn, but when you hear their hitting coach, Greg Walker, you talk about him in terms of his power and how much they really like him in the organization. And as a catcher, boy, I tell you what, you don't have a job with the Braves. There's a lot of other teams, especially if you have power. And certainly he's going to have to learn how to catch and call a game, boy, but offensive catchers.
She is fortunate that she was able to rock the other way.
She's a good dancer. You're right about that. She rocked the other way and didn't have a choice.
Oh, that ball was smoked.
She can take a sigh right now and saying, hey, is this really what I wanted to do today?
Ground ball left side. Freddie Galvis is there. Jonathan Pettibone is going to have a few more pitches to throw because that throw is a little wide. It's the 2nd error on a throw for Freddie Galvis in the last couple of days. It's just something you don't often see. So an E6.
That's normally an easy play. He comes in. Well, he flings it. Ball sailed on him. Well, it looked like he might have tagged him.
Yeah, Mayberry looked like he had a chance to make that tag, and looked like he may have grazed the back of his jersey. Here's Mejia, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Showing a lot of agility, sort of like the way we were with the Whiffle game early on.
I'm not sure if agility is the first word I would think of.
Speak for yourself.
0-1 the count to Mejia, who's 0 for 2.
Wills isn't going to particularly like that. I'm seeing those highlights.
Hey, you got to make that play. He hit the ball well, but he's got to make that play on that pop-up. Pitcher's not supposed to make that catch, Sarge.
Well, he hit the ball well until we started spinning them. Once we started throwing that little curveball.
That slide piece?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Sent a many of guys home that started off in the minor leagues. Pretty easy to hit that straight one.
Ball gets away from Joseph, and Gaddis will go up to second. And there'll be a wild pitch charged to Pettibone.
Well, the Braves always seem to draft really big players. I mean, the only small players that they will draft are the second baseman or the shortstop, but for the most part of it, it's just the second baseman.
A little spinner out towards short. Another chance for Galvis. This time the throw is right on the money. And the side is retired. 1 run on the home run by Chris Johnson. There you go, Sarge. Rushing them off. Owning the plate is what I'm doing right there. We'll be back for the bottom of the 6th right after this. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? And by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEF-NOW for an appointment. 7-2 Phillies, bottom of the 6th inning. Each team has committed 2 errors. Christian Martinez will be the new pitcher for the Braves as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Martinez on for Craig Kimbrell. Kimbrell is credited with one inning of work. He allowed 2 hits, including the home run to Ryan Howard, and 2 runs. So Martinez, who pitched out in the bullpen last year for the Braves, he will face Ben Revere and then Freddie Galvis for the Phillies. And it should be Pete Orr who should be due up second. Changes for the Braves. Matt Pagnozzi will take over behind the plate for Atlanta. They picked him up this past offseason. Second baseman is Blake DeWitt, the former major leaguer with the Dodgers and the Cubs. As Revere leads it off, and he takes outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Revere today is 1 for 2. He walked and scored his first time up, but he shoots that one to left center field. It's going to split the gap, and it's going to go to the wall. Perez can't get it, so it's picked up by Cunningham, and Revere pulls into second with a leadoff double. I mentioned Perez is in left field for the Braves, so he takes over for Justin Upton. And it's actually Tyler Pasternicki who goes to center field, the second baseman to start this ball game. Cunningham moves from center field to right field for Jason Hayward. The new third baseman is Joe Leonard. And now Freddie Galvis with the runner at second base. And Galvis right on top of that fastball hits it foul, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, good job. He was trying to pull the ball. You want to continue to play the game, get him over and get him in. And Charlie keeps switching them back and forth. Jimmy Rollins and Ben Revere there at that leadoff spot. I got to tell you, this kid there, if he's going to be getting on, he looks good at the plate against left-handers.
Well, Charlie just wants to see Ben Revere more and more, just to see what he can do. And I would think that he likes what he has seen so far. He has 5 hits in 13 at-bats. As Galvis lines it down the right field line, that'll be in for an extra base hit. Revere very easily comes home, and Galvis will pull in the second with an RBI double. It's now 8-2 Phillies.
Well, he gets on. I tell you what, you just almost expect to be able to score. That's the kind of speed that he has. Can just ignite this club. Take a look at it as Freddie actually pulls the ball. That's what you want to do. Anytime you get a runner on second base, nobody out, you want to pull it. He gets the bonus, gets a double out of it, and an RBI.
Well, now Pete Orr is the batter with still nobody out and a runner at second base. Pete has a home run this spring and a swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Pete will be heading to Arizona to participate in the World Baseball Classic with Team Canada, which will be managed by Ernie Witt. Outside corner, 0-2 to Pete Orr.
Pretty good swing. Well, the one thing, too, though, for Orr, you know he'll get a lot more maybe playing time, a lot more at bats, which would be good for him. A lot of the guys that are going to play in the Classic should get quite a few at bats, especially if you're one of the guys that would be playing every day. Don't know if Pete will, but he'll get enough at bats.
Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Phillies have 10 players going to the World Baseball Classic. There are only 2 other teams that have more than the 10. Some of them are minor leaguers who will get a chance to play for their respective countries. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I think that would be an honor to be able to play on one of those teams. See what you can do about some of the other countries.
Well, I think that, you know, what you said is just getting an opportunity to play. To the right side, that'll get Galvis over to third. 3 unassisted, 1 away.
Good job.
And that'll bring John Mayberry to the plate for the first time. Team USA has not announced who will start the first game of the World Baseball Classic. Many people think it'll be Ryan Vogelsong, who pitched yesterday for the San Francisco Giants. So they feel like he is going to be in line to make the start, but I can't imagine any of these starters will go that deep into games.
Oh boy,
at least to initially.
Yeah, you would actually hope not, because let's face it, the main event starts in April, and that is the regular Major League season. I think, however, for me, pitchers are going to be, ready to go. They've been in spring training for a while, but again, you don't want them, at least for me, starting to throw anywhere near 7 or 8 innings. I think you got to keep them on kind of the same program. Don't know how you're going to do that with the competition, but that's up to the management there in that league to get the best ability out of those guys. But you just can't, again, pitch those pitchers 6, 7, and 8 innings.
2-0, the count to John Mayberry. The infield is in for the Braves. Phillies leading 8-2 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, I think they have rules, though, on how much a guy can play, how many at-bats, or how many pitches a particular pitcher can pitch.
On the inside corner, 2-1.
Steve Henderson, the hitting coach, along with Wally Joyner, they're talking to Mayberry Jr. about being a little bit more aggressive there at the plate. Henderson talked about it today, about that fastball. He doesn't want, his players taking first pitch fastball. They need John Mayberry to be a little bit more aggressive. They'll probably end up doing a lot better. Well, I'd like it too, because they'll call them in one-on-one to talk with them, as opposed to, just saying it at the cage and so on. They'll call them in and ask them, hey, what's your philosophy? What are you thinking about?
saw Charlie pull John Mayberry aside today during batting practice, and that was probably the same kind of conversation that you were just talking about.
Everybody's talking about at the same time because they know that John, with the multiple positions that he plays, he can help this club, but even base running wise. I mean, he's capable of stealing 15 bases or more. I mean, he's a good athlete. Got to be able to read pitches, but more importantly, you got to be able to get on base. Can't steal first.
3-2 the count to Mayberry with a runner at third. And he lines one to deep left field. Going back on it is Perez. Back to the track. It is gone. A home run for John Mayberry. A 2-run shot. And the Phillies lead it 10-2. The cleanup spot's been rather productive for the Phillies this afternoon.
Now, Tom, when it gets back there, everybody will take credit for that home run that he hit, by the way. Good to see Mayberry Jr. hit that ball out of the ballpark. Take a look at it as he backlegs it. Ball getting out of the ballpark. Take a look at it again. Boy, you hit against that front foot. Get on top of the ball. It's going to go a long way. What a nice swing. Nice to see him swinging finally like that.
Well, the Phillies now with 10 runs on 12 hits. Ashe rolls one to second base. And DeWitt throws him out for the second out here in the sixth. So Martinez has allowed 3 runs in this inning. Kimbrel allowed 2 in the fifth. And now with 2 outs, Dominic Brown will bat for the 4th time this afternoon. Dominic's been on base all 3 times.
Yeah, these guys are getting a long look. Guys like Dominic, again like Mayberry, Darren Ruff, a couple of others on the team here. They're going to get a long look because they want to know exactly what they have. And so far, Charlie likes what he sees with Dominic, and the hits are great, but just his approach has been pretty good there at the plate. Gives him a chance to get a hit, to do some damage.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Dominic. Broke his bat, and DeWitt is there again. Martinez gets back-to-back groundouts, but the Phillies with some damage prior to that. A double by Freddie Galvis and a 2-run bomb by John Mayberry. And the Phillies lead it by 8. Welcome to the Gun Show.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Phillies had a big day offensively. Ryan Howard, Cole Hamels pitched very well in his 3 innings. Chris Johnson with a solo home run. Paul Maholm started pitch into the third inning for the Braves, but the Phillies all day are throwing up crooked numbers, so as a result they have 10.
Well, obviously it's the best day for them offensively this spring. I mean, they've been able to go yard a couple of times. Jonathan Pettibone is getting set to pitch his second inning out of the bullpen for the Phillies. And he'll face Todd Cunningham. And he's behind 2 balls and 1 strike. Phillies changes. Joe Mather takes over in right field. And Tyson Gillies is the new center fielder, taking a look at the sun, making sure that he's got an understanding. Tyson will be leaving this weekend for the World Baseball Classic, where he will play for Team Canada along with Pete Orr. One and two the count, or 2-2 the count, excuse me, to Cunningham. Ethan Martin is warming up with the bullpen for the Phillies. Ethan is supposed to pitch today at some point. And he can go a couple of innings. Maybe that's the plan, to get Pettibone through the 7th inning and have Martin pitch the 8th and 9th inning for the Phillies, with an assortment of guys out there just in case they can't get through. David Hale is warming up in the bullpen for the Braves. Outside, 3-2. You know, Sarge was mentioning before about the guys going to the Baseball Classic, that there were some rules for the starting pitchers, for pitchers in general, and there are. In fact, for the first round, pitchers are limited to just 65 pitches per outing. So that's how they can kind of regulate, you know, how the starters and relievers, everybody progresses during spring training. In the second round, they can throw 80 pitches per outing, and then the third round of games is 95 pitches.
Did he know all that stuff?
He didn't know the numbers, but he knew that there were rules.
Yeah.
We didn't have a chance to get to it because we were toward the end of the inning. Here's Ramiro Pena, and he lines it the opposite way, a base hit. So the Braves are the first 2 on here in the 7th.
They do their best to protect those guys. There's a lot of investments added out there, and you know, they continue spring training, but the juices flow a little bit more because you're in competition.
And you figure Rich Doobie and Charlie Manuel and Phillies front office will keep in contact with, you know, certain players and coaches on those staffs, just to know how many pitches Rodrigo Lopez threw in an outing for Mexico, things like that. Here's Pasternicki, and he takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. Pasternicki's 1 for 3. Deep down the left field line. Inciarte will watch that one go right over the top of the wall. A 3-run home run that makes this a 10-5 ball game. I don't know if that had enough to get out of here. But it carried and slipped right over the yellow line. So Pasternicki has his 4th hit of the spring.
Well, it started with a walk and then the hit and then the home run. This guy looks like he really tries to keep the ball down, Pettibone, and that ball was wasn't down enough. They've kind of golfed a couple of them today. One that Johnson hit, and that was a beating.
Well, now Blake DeWitt, he takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Blake DeWitt played in the league championship series against the Phillies a few years ago. I remember having a bases cleared double in the 1st inning. Helped the Dodgers win a game. He looked like a guy could hit a little bit. And now he started to bounce around. Went to the Cubs.
Pettibone ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. J.C. Ramirez has joined Ethan Martin in the bullpen for the Phillies. Ground ball to second. And 1 away here in the 7th inning. There's J.C. Ramirez throwing in the bullpen with Ethan Martin. There's no better way to celebrate the start of a new baseball season than with tickets for opening day. And the easiest way to get tickets for the Modell Sporting Goods home opener is by considering an opening day 6-game pack. Order now at Phillies.com and plan to wave your Modell Sporting Goods rally towel when the Phils host the Royals April 5th at 4:05.
Ramirez is a little bit like what Savory was earlier. If they can't get the guy through the inning, they'll go there. If not, Martin will pitch the next inning, as Tom mentioned. But they have to have somebody up if they just think, well, Pettibone, that's enough.
Yeah, Pettibone's at 38 pitches right now. Here's Jordan Perez, and the count is 0-1 to him. To the right side again. Ooh, Pedro makes a nice play. Fortunate it was on his glove side. It took an odd hop, but he was able to make the play, and there are 2 outs.
Here comes a guy up that needs a broad shoulders to get his name on his uni.
Yeah, I have the pronunciation of this name, Wales. I wrote them all down.
Good.
Turdislavich. Joey Turdislavich.
Right.
Basically, they said that it's pronounced just the way it sounds.
Okay.
T-E-R-D-O. Turdislavich. The way it looks. Swing and a miss. It's pronounced the way it looks, not the way it sounds. It sounds the way it looks.
I know what you meant.
Thank you for staying with me on that one.
Been there.
3 for 7 so far this spring. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Wheels, did you get a chance to look at the highlights of the wiffle ball game?
No.
Okay.
No, but I'm sure you did.
Well, I did watch them, yes.
Yeah. How'd they look?
They looked exceptional.
Yeah. I got one. I did get a text from the ever observant Scott Fransky.
I'm sure he enjoyed it. I did see that text. I'm sure he enjoyed
something
it.
About nice effort, and I returned to him. I was not about to blow a tire and hurt my golf game.
John Mayberry grabs that one out of the air, and the Braves are retired here in the 7th. They do get 3 back on a 3-run home run by Tyler Pasternicki. It's time to stretch here at Clearwater. Wheels, get up and stretch. Don't blow a tire. Get all the Phillies, Flyers, Eagles, and Sixers news that Philly fans need to know on Sports Night. Every night at 6 at 10, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Baseball is not only being played here at Bright House Field, but it's also being played adjacent to Bright House Field. That's the half field where the legendary wiffle ball competition took place earlier this morning. Pitchers are doing some PFPs. Field looks like it's in good shape despite the fact that we trashed it earlier today. Some changes for the Braves. Elmer Reyes takes over at shortstop for Atlanta. So Ramiro Pena's day is done. And Princeton University's own David Hale, not the same one who wrote for the News Journal and covered the Phillies, who now covers Florida State. It's a different David Hale. It's 27 games last year. He won 8 games in the farm system. And he'll face Ender Inciarte, who is 1 for 1 so far this spring. And it's fouled away. No balls and 2 strikes.
Boys have to stay loose over there today.
Ball just hit the press box, the roof of the press box, and shot down right over the top of Charlie Manuel's head. 0-2 the count. And outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. David Hale is 25 years old. He's from Marietta, Georgia. Pretty good baseball town. Went to Princeton University, where he was a 3rd-round selection by the Atlanta Braves in 2009. Had a swing and a miss. Inciarte is struck out for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th. So 1 away. Lance Nix is the batter. Mentioned all those changes the Braves had during this offseason. Well, the most notable change was that of Chipper Jones retiring at the end of 2012. And he is a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
Amen.
303 lifetime average as a switch hitter and 468 home runs. He was in camp with the Braves when they began several weeks ago. They said he looked great. There was talk even when he arrived that maybe he was going to make a comeback, and he said,
Well, he has never changed from that. From day one, he said, I'm done, and that's it. And to his credit, that was the end of it.
Well, he said that if he even thought about a change and thought about coming back, he said he would have had to have begun training back in November. He said there's just no way.
He didn't want to play anymore. Not that he didn't want to play anymore. His body just started to give out to the point where he couldn't play the way that he did before, or that he had to do so much to get ready to play. But we know from having watched him at the end of the year, he could still hit a fastball.
There were probably a handful of teams that thought about picking up the phone and asking if he was interested in coming back to play for them.
Sure.
And you couldn't blame them. 2 outs. Tommy Joseph, the batter. Joseph homered in his last at bat here in Clearwater.
It will seem strange, though, for him not to be a member of the Braves, either playing or be on the DL. Not be an active member of their club after all these years. I know a lot of the people that like to chant Larry will be upset that he's gone. That really did a lot of good. They start going Larry. Larry hit one about 420 feet.
Want to know the count to Tommy Joseph. High chopper to shortstop. Reyes waits for the hop, and Hale has a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 7th inning. Phillies go down in order. We go to the 8th with the Phils enjoying a 5-run lead over the Braves. Baseball is brought to you by the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. And by Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Philadelphia Phillies. We move to the top of the 8th inning here in Clearwater. Phillies on top 10-5. It's turned out to be a gorgeous day. Temperatures have basically stayed in the high 60s for most of the afternoon. You still get your sun in. Sitting out at the berm out in the outfield that goes from left center all the way around to right field.
Oh, you can get roasted out there.
Yes, you can. Some folks enjoy that spot out there because you can move around a little bit. There are some games though later on in the spring where it's very difficult to move around that berm, and that'll start happening here in Clearwater in the next week or so. But it's a gorgeous day. If you ever have a chance to come on down to Clearwater when the Phillies are here, and you can get a chance to see some of the future stars like Ethan Martin, who last year pitched in 27 games between the Phillies and the Dodgers, and finished with a 13-6 record and a 3.48 ERA. Phillies acquired him from the Dodgers along with Josh Lindblom, a former #1 pick by Los Angeles. And he starts the first hitter off with a breaking pitch after firing all these fastballs during his warm-up sessions. And there's the first fastball, and it's at the knees. It's 0-2. Joe Leonard up for the first time. He's 2 for 4 in the spring. And it remains 0-2. Alex Wood in the bullpen for the Braves. Looks like he'll pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. Swing and a miss. Talk about a put-away pitch. And there's one out. So one away. Mark your calendars now for the first Hatfield Phillies Franks Dollar Dog Nights at the ballpark. The first one is Tuesday, April 9th when the Mets are in town. Then Monday the 22nd when the Pittsburgh Pirates come to Philadelphia. It's always a great deal. Order your tickets at Phillies.com. Matt Pagnozzi now the batter for the Braves. Pagnozzi up for the first time today. And he swings at the first pitch. Mather ventures back a few steps, and there are 2 outs.
Gets him to right field the way his uncle used to. Uncle Tom played in the big leagues for a long time, especially with the Cardinals. Yeah, he's a good defensive catcher, Tom Pagnozzi.
Well, they say the same about Matt, and he has a chance, depending on Brian McCann's health, to stick with the ball club. Mejia up again. There is a lot of excitement from a Phillies standpoint for Ethan Martin.
I think Rich Doobie said the other day he thought he was a little amped in that first game that he pitched here because he struggled a little bit in that first exhibition game, which is understandable. You go out there and you're trying to impress everybody, try to throw it through a wall, and it rarely will work.
I think that's why Rich Doobie said earlier when he was talking to Murph that you kind of brush aside the first couple of outings, particularly for the younger pitchers, until they get their feet wet and realize that, it's just a game.
Right. A lot of times the harder you try to throw, too, the harder they hit it back at you.
1-2 the count to Mejia. Broke his bat. Oh, boy, he shattered his bat. And Ashe throws him out. That was a good live fastball, and it's a 1-2-3 8th inning. Well, the second time is a charm for Ethan Martin. Middle of the 8th inning, the Phillies 10, the Braves 5. Bottom of the 8th inning here at Bright House Field. The Phillies on top 10-5. I think somebody's getting a little antsy out on the berm. Tag, you're it, and then he's running away. Oh. That's what spring training is about, is just getting a chance to enjoy a little bit of the sunshine.
Mom's trying to do something with that phone, like, leave me alone for a minute.
Yeah, and he wants something to happen. He wants some action right now. Well, the Phillies certainly have had action today offensively. 10 runs on 12 hits.
Who's going to win that battle?
I think Mom will win it, but I think he'll feel like he won it.
Yeah.
He's just enjoying the pace out there, Wheels.
There you go. Somebody was going to pay.
Yep. He's going down.
He thought he had a little cotton candy or something.
He had something. They both did. Oh, that's a good takedown. Give him 2, Wheels. Yep. Now we begin the bottom of the 8th inning. And Tyson Gillies will lead it off for the Phillies.
You said the berm's good for a lot of things.
Berm is good for keep yourself busy. Gillies took a strike, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Alex Wood is the new pitcher for the Braves as we start the 8th. And Gillies just barely moves out of the way. It's 1-1. The number 64 has been Gillies' number for the last few years in spring training. We've watched him go get the ball out in the outfield, and he is constant movement out there.
Can only keep this guy healthy and have a player.
Physically, he is a specimen.
Oh, he can run, he can throw, he can do all kinds of things. And as you said, he loves to play. Great energy. The poor guy's been hurt so much. A lot of leg problems.
To the right side. And Gillies is retired for the first out. See Wood's numbers last year in 13 games in the minor leagues, 4-3 with a 2.22 ERA. Phillies got 5 runs against Paul Maholm, the starter for the Braves, in 2 2/3. 2 against Craig Kimbrell, who worked out of the bullpen. They also scored 3 against Christian Martinez.
Freddie had one of his professional at-bats last time up with a runner at second. Nobody out, pull the ball, and he finally did. He wound up getting, we talked earlier, sometimes you play the game the right way, you get more out of it. He wound up getting a double and an RBI himself, but the idea was pull the ball there and try and get him over.
How shocking was it to see him making a second error in 2 games?
Especially that kind of error.
Ground ball back toward the middle, a base hit for Galvis. So he has a hit left-handed, he has a hit right-handed today. 1 out single. And Pete Orr is up for the second time. Cesar Jimenez is warming in the bullpen for the Phillies. Pete Orr grounded out to first. His first time up.
Pete Orr is such a good guy. Everybody loves to be around him. And before the game, you can always tell a guy's popular because he was over with a lot of the Braves people. And they were laughing and having a good time with him. He spent some years with Atlanta. Was a good player for them.
Made it to the major leagues for the first time with the Atlanta Braves.
And you could see how much people that knew him over there enjoyed it, seeing him again.
0-2 the count to Pete Orr. Alex Wood gathers his signs, and the former Georgia Bulldog gets ready to throw. The 0-2, swing and a miss.
That's funky.
And there are 2 outs.
Well, he rears back a little bit, and then looks like the foot comes down. Here comes the ball. You're a left-handed hitter. Woo. Look at this delivery. Whoa, here it comes. And a good breaking ball.
He was picked 85th overall by the Braves last year, which is why his minor league numbers are kind of short game-wise. He has 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th for John Mayberry. Mayberry homered his last time up. It was a 2-run shot. And he takes a fastball, and it's 0-1. Wood was asked about that delivery. He said, I think it's my uniqueness, my delivery, that has given me part of the success there.
Oh, absolutely. When you're funky like that, look, a hitter, the number one thing a hitter wants to do is find the ball as fast as he can. And coming out of that delivery, it's probably a little tough to find it.
Because he was redshirted his freshman year at Georgia, he was draft eligible following his sophomore season. And that's when the Braves took him with one of their first-round picks. The 0-2 pitch coming to Mayberry. Inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
John Mayberry, nice at bat his last time up. Shot one out of here to left center field. Good move, Ryan Sandberg. Let him go. Good a fielder as he was going to get an in-between hop, and why bother?
Plus, he figured it wasn't moving that hard, so it just rolled right to the fans in the first couple of rows.
Yeah, but those are the kind you see. I'm not catching it. Those are the kind you just jam a finger. It makes no sense.
Somebody's giving him a hard time.
Right. What does he have to prove? It's over for him having to prove anything.
Mayberry takes one off the plate. It's 3-2.
Larry Boa used to say, check the stats.
He just reminded Freddie Galvis that he's going to be running on this pitch with the count 3-2. Outside, ball 4, and the Phillies have a couple aboard here in the 8th inning.
Cody Ashley's at bat coming up off this guy, because you can see he's much more comfortable to hit off from the right side than the left.
Ashley has not gotten a chance to bat. I shouldn't say that. He grounded out his last time up, so he's 0 for 1 today. He certainly has had opportunities this spring. Phillies have gotten a chance to take a look at him not only defensively but also offensively.
You can see why they like him.
And it's 1 ball and no strikes.
He's nice and quiet when he hits, too. Not a whole lot going on there. He looks like he's quick.
Inside, 2-0.
He's got one of those see the ball, hit the ball styles of hitting, it looks like.
Ball 4. So now back-to-back walks, loaded the bases for Joe Mather. So Mather will bat with the bases loaded from the right side against Alex Wood.
I mean, this wind's blowing here today. You throw one down to this guy, it could take a long ride, but he likes the ball down.
You know, we've watched Joe Mather the last several years from the other side. You know, we watched him with the Cubs. We've watched him with the Cardinals. We've watched him with the Braves. He played 36 games for the Braves back in 2011. He played 103 games last year for the Cubs. Had 5 home runs and 19 runs batted in. You don't realize until you see him in camp how big he is.
Oh, yeah.
He's almost 6'5".
Well, he's a low ball hitter. He golfs it, uppercut type swing. He's the kind of guy when he's on the opposition, he thought he had some holes, but he was dangerous.
Well, he's ahead 1 ball and no strikes. Now 30 years old. About to high school in Arizona, third-round pick of the Cardinals in 2001.
Ooh.
Boy, he challenged him with a fastball. It was up, too. And it's 2-2.
I mean, this guy's not up there to hit singles. That's Rip City. But see, he looks like he's more vulnerable with the ball up in the zone than he would be down with just the opposite, the way you think of a lot of hitters. Especially right-handed hitters.
Mathers hit 124 home runs in his minor league career. The 2-2. In the air to left field. And it's playable for Perez, and he makes the catch. And the Phillies leave him loaded here in the 7th inning. A single and 2 walks. We go to the 9th inning. The Phils looking for their second win here in the spring. Phillies lead at 10-5 over the Atlanta Braves as we go to the top of the 9th inning. The offense has really exploded this afternoon. Our next telecast will be Sunday at 1 o'clock when the Toronto Blue Jays come to town. The Phillies have a split squad day that day. Part of the team will be in Sarasota to take on the Orioles. And then, of course, we'll be here at Bright House Field against the Blue Jays. That game will be on Comcast Sportsnet. As we begin the 9th inning, Cunningham bunts his way on. So he's aboard against Ethan Martin, who pitched a 1-2-3 8th inning and looked very effective in that 1-2-3 8th inning.
Good stuff. Good breaking ball, good fastball. One fastball he threw at the end really ran. One where he shattered the bat. That's good baseball right there, though. You're down by 5 runs in the 9th inning. Get on base.
Elmer Reyes will be the batter. Reyes just 22 years old. Now the first pitch of the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. Reyes last year played in Single A, where he hit .251 with 5 home runs and 36 runs batted in for the Braves. 0 for 5 so far this spring. Fly ball right field. And Mather started back, but he comes in. So Reyes, who's from Nicaragua, is retired for the first out. And Pasternak, who's played all day, he's 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs, including a 3-run home run, is up for the 5th time. Phillies committed 2 errors in this ballgame today. Charlie Manuel yesterday, after they committed 3 errors, said the Phillies defense really gave him a headache. What he was watching yesterday in that game against the Twins in Fort Myers. You know, they've made 2 errors here today, as he's continued to say that they need to tighten that up as the spring moves on. Back toward the middle, and it could be 2. Galvis at the second base bag, and Ethan Martin. 2 scoreless innings in relief for the Phillies as they close this one out by a final score of 10-5. Offensively, this was the Phils' best day of the spring so far. And from a pitching standpoint, they got some very good outings from Cole Hamels, Mike Adams, and Ethan Martin, to name 3 this afternoon against the Atlanta Braves. Well, think about some of the positives out of this ball game. Ryan Howard continues to be a big positive. Dominic Brown, offensively, a huge positive. But also the pitching of Cole Hamels, Mike Adams in his debut this spring, and what we just saw from Ethan Martin these 2 innings. Even though, you know, the Braves starters weren't in, he looked pretty comfortable out there in his first real chance.
It's so much fun to see some of these guys, Tom, because, you know, people ask you, what do you think of this? What do you think? And you don't know because you haven't seen them. You can see why they're like Ethan Martin. That's good stuff right there. That ball has, his fastball really moves. He is a good breaking ball.
Good breaking ball, put away pitches, and that's what guys talk about from time to time with certain pitchers, and he certainly showed that he has some put away pitches. So, you know, some good things happened this afternoon for the Phillies. 10 runs on 13 hits, including the home runs by Ryan Howard and John Mayberry this afternoon. John Mayberry finished things out for the Phils, and he's down on the field with Greg Murphy. Murph?
Actually joined by Ethan Martin, and 2 solid innings out of you today. And in your second, you know, chance to get the pitch for the Phils here, how did it feel? Did it feel a little bit different than the first time you were out there on the mound?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's nice to face some different hitters and not your own team, you know. Just coming out here trying to get ahead, and that's what I struggled with the first outing I had, and got it behind, and that's I had to give them their pitch, and they hit me. So that was my big thing today, is come out and get ahead.
When you're working on things in spring training, which all of you guys are doing, how important is it with each and every outing to feel more comfortable with those pitches and work in your different pitches against different guys?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the first time we've seen hitters, you know, just take it step by step and game by game. You know, you got to get more comfortable every single time you go out there, and that's what we're all trying to do.
As you continue to get better, you get a chance to work with some of the best starters in a decade, really, in Major League Baseball, and Roy Halladay and Cliff Lee and Cole Hamels. How much does that help you guys, the young guys on this staff, continue to improve?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just being around those 3, you know, you come out here day in and day out, and you don't necessarily have to even ask questions. You just watch how they go about their business and day in and day out, and how they get here early and get their stuff done. And you just learn from that, and you know, you pick up little things here and there, and you know, occasionally you will ask them something. But for majority, all of us are just sitting back and just watching them to go about their business, because they are one of the top 3 pitchers in the game.
Well, you certainly took care of business today. Congratulations on a good outing, Ethan Martin. Thanks for stopping by. Guys, we'll send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Ethan Martin, 2 scoreless innings for the Phillies to cap off a much-needed win as they win at 10-5 over the Braves. We'll be back to talk a little bit more about it right after this from Bright House Field.